are there character traits that kind of turn on the red flags for you where you're like, I'm just not going to let this type of person in my inner circle or take up too much of my time?
Yeah, listen, I think as human beings, we should always do an audit as to who our friend groups are. Are they sort of adding value in many ways? And are we giving value in many ways? Because we all feed off each other's energy. You know, it's the same thesis if I pick up a phone and like I'm hyper reactive on a phone and you feel my energy over the phone.
Totally.
It's the same way contextually with the people around you.
Yeah.
And that's something there that I think proximity drives influence to a large degree. And the people around you should always audit and see year end. And that's something I do at the end of every year. Look at my friend group. Like I always say you have your close friend groups. That can be 5 people. And you have acquaintances. And then externally outside of that, you have just like friends that are like you see around or as by proxy business partners or friends of friends, etc.
Yeah.
But your close friend group, you should always audit because those are the people you go to who kind of influence your ecosystem and the bubble you live in. So that's something there you should always watch out for.
Yeah, that's so important. And what was also important is even just your point on work ethic too. It's crazy how we even have to say the concept of working hard is a hack, because that was always one of the things I was curious about with you, because I'm like, this guy's traveling all over the world. He's got Tech Ball. I know he's invested in over 20 plus brands. I'm like, how does he balance the time to do all this stuff? And I think something that Harry and I have learned with our first stint into entrepreneurship is that nothing just supplements working really fucking hard. Like there's no hack. It's literally just investing the work that you know to get the outcome that you want to. So it sounds like that's been a big part of your success as well.
Yeah, it's working hard, but at the same time, and dare I say it, but at the same time, just auditing your time as well. I think, listen, we all have the same amount of time. We're allotted the same amount of time in a day.
Yeah.
Some use it better than others. And a lot of time it's just auditing sort of what you do throughout the day. You're not always going to get it right, but if you can get as close to, as possible and kind of audit it week by week, month by month,
Yeah.
you'll infinitely get better as time moves on. So
Yeah, I like that the nuance there, because it's like it's one thing to be hardworking, but work ethic is actually saying I actually have discipline around how I approach work, where people can have a high pain tolerance and be a hard worker, but like they're just working on something that's not actually driving them in the way where their work is actually producing fruit. And so actually having work ethic is like, no, I'm going to say no to things that might be good opportunities, but I know it's not taking me in the right direction.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think, like I said, our biggest asset is time,
Yeah.
you know, and how do you allocate that in the right places?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was there a point where you were struggling with time management? I mean, I feel like it's like everyone struggles with it, but was there a point where you feel like you made that turn where you're like, okay, I kind of am like figuring this out? And
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is we're so conditioned. I'm a big fan of not subscribing to societal norms. We're all conditioned to like, hey, I'll throw a 30-minute meeting in your calendar. I'll throw a 1-hour meeting in your calendar. The reality, that can be a 10-minute meeting. I've always said 10 to 50-minute meetings are real. And literally, if you can get down to that point, it's amazing what you can achieve in a day, you know? And you can do 19 meetings in a day, 19 15-minute meetings,
Yeah.
you know, in
Totally.
one day. And I would say if you look at like the chips of life, we're all allocated 24 hours, and call it what you want, but there's 24 hours in a day, and you allocate 8 chips towards sleep. You start the day with 16 chips. Where do you allocate those 16 chips to? You know, today I'm allocating a chip to you guys, you know? And so from that perspective, you think about that in that contextual framework.
Definitely.
It's super powerful. But then I think, a lot of meetings, when I audit people's calendars and I see their calendar, a lot of the time it's just, okay, you can have a 45-minute coffee meeting or a 30-minute coffee meeting, you know? And just set boundaries and set standards.
Yeah.
And infinitely, if I'm going into a coffee meeting, I have 30 minutes. Bang, you get straight to the point versus a lot of, you can still do the fluffy stuff like how are you and everything else, and then find another time to catch up on that stuff. So yeah.
He's laughing because I'm a victim to just always, like you said it, Austin is like this health and wellness renaissance. So I feel like with where we're at, there's always just new people to connect with, or maybe this person can help me with this, or hey, I want to jump on this opportunity and act with velocity. And I feel like that's something that I'm trying to audit heading into 2024 is like, it's always going to be important to meet new people, but also you have to make time to make sure like that critical deep work, the tasks that are actually pushing the needle forward, that has to be the priority. And you can still schedule time for networking and relationships and all that stuff, but that's kind of just more of an honest reflection that I'm going through with myself. So I appreciate you saying that. Yeah.
Oh, good. It takes time, but I mean, listen, we're all learning.
Yeah.
As human beings, we're all learning. No one has it perfect, you know. Even with business, we're all figuring it out as we go along, right? And we're all learning. Some of us are specialists, some of us are generalists. And from that perspective, it's one of those things that like you just learn from other people around you. It's asking the right questions.
Yeah.
Right. And that's something I'm super, super curious. Like I love learning.
Yeah.
It's the only way I get better, you know?
Yes.
And I always say like investing and money monetizes over time, but knowledge, you can monetize knowledge forever, you know? And that's something there. And I always use the analogy of Warren Buffett was sat here and I'm talking to him about the sky's blue. It's a blue sky. I mean, I'm not extrapolating the main value from Warren, but if I'm talking to him about asset classes, S&P 500, then, you know, that's where I'm gaining knowledge from. And then I can talk to him about other things of that aspect. It's the questions you ask when you get into the rooms that you want to get into.